Alright, we are back. After some technical difficulties, let me get this straight. There we go. Alright, I was finally able to rejoin. I had to go reconnect to my Wi-Fi for a brief moment. But we have returned. There we go. Alright, we're on lap 10, still under safety conditions, fortunately, so we haven't missed anything. Let's see what the strategies have been. Testwell and Zezin have stayed out, Whisper has stayed out, Twisteri has stayed out, everyone else has pulled to the pit lane. Easy game. Onto the hards, Snipes onto the mediums, Toru and Aguilajobs onto the hards, and everyone else behind onto brand new mediums. Of course, we saw Snipes get that 3-second time penalty coming out of the final corner, which, well, I wouldn't say it caused the incident with Tarrier. But it certainly happened beforehand, and he lost control as well. And eventually Tarrier tried to avoid and lost control himself, and straight into the wall he went. So a really unfortunate moment between those two, but it looks like we're going to get back to green flag racing. It's quite interesting though. We have Testwell staying out, his teammate pulling into the pit lane. Safety car in this lap at the end of lap 10. And Testwell is going to lead the way, and it's surprising that he stayed out. Of course, he would have to double stack, but you don't lose that much time under safety conditions. He's still out there on 9 lap old medium, so his stars not optimal at all. But there's the rain already on lap 10. I was told it was at the end. Ooh, this actually might be a great strategy then from Testwell. If it starts to rain right now, and if the inters come quite soon, then but he almost spins himself off track there on the restart, but then he just get the traction right, and he will lead the way to green flag racing, going on to lap 11. He's got 0.8 of a second towards Sesson, but here we go again with Whisper in P3, then Twisteri in P4, and then it's easy game in P5 on his brand new hard. But the rain is starting to fall here at Sandford, and easy game is putting his V-Cup alongside the Haas of Twisteri through turn 3. They are side by side. Snipes is behind as well. They are still going at it. Of course, Twisteri is not going to make the life of Snipes any difficult, and through he goes. And down to P6 goes Twisteri, Snipes, and easy game are fighting it out once again. And in the background, that was Toto almost going off the inside of Twisteri, who went very wide through turn 6. Annoying that the safeguarding thing is still on the screen, but we'll have to live with it. Testwell leads still by 0.3 of a second towards Sesson, but the question is going to be, when are the intermediates going to be quicker than the slicks? At the moment it still seems like the slicks have the advantage. You never know, sometimes it can go really quickly, sometimes it can take quite a few laps. In the background, going to the pit lane already is Whisper. DRS has been enabled. Of course, after one lap of safety car restart, it always gets re-enabled. And Whisper is the only one to go into the intermediates on this lap, so we've got a nice comparison. We'll see if he is going to be quicker than Infinity ahead in 16th place. Look at this train forming behind Testwell and Zezin. Easy game and Snipes have caught up. Toto has got past Twisteri to P5. And potentially an opponent place as Shelby picks up a 3-second time penalty in his fight with Nexus and Soul Demon. He's dropping behind. He goes side by side through the middle sector. Down in P15, but that's easy game. Going around the outside of Zezin through turn 9 or 10. I think it's turn 10. And he's got the job done. What about Snipes then? He needs to get past as soon as possible, but not going to be able to go up the inside in towards chicane on this lap. And now, Testwell and easy game. Are they going to work together, or is Testwell going to be trying to stay ahead? Because if it gets wet, you want to be the first one into the pit lane. You don't want to double stack. Testwell is going to stay out. Easy game is going to stay out. They're all going to stay out. But here comes our championship leader to the inside, going in towards turn 1. And easy game is back into the lead of this race. Yellow flags are out in the background. They're going side by side to the pit lane there with Pires and Shelby. Multiple drivers putting the pit lane as well to go on the intermediates. Have to really pay attention to if Whispering was gaining time. definitely looks like he's not losing time. He is well ahead of Tuisteri. And what has happened to Snipes? He has lost a lot of time. He's behind Tolu now. Down in P5. Really struggling, it seems like, in these conditions. Whisper is 9 seconds behind Infinity. But he is gaining a few tenths every single corner. So it seems like the intermediates are definitely the to be on right now. Which is bad news once again for Test Will. Because he will have to double stack. Look at the easy game go. 2 seconds is the gap between our two race leaders. Tuisteri has left the session. Let's hope he gets an invite from our lobby host Ben. But is easy game going to pull into pit lane at the end of lap 13? No, he's not. He's going to stay out. His teammate is not. He's going to pull into the pit lane. Zezin and Tolu stay out as well. But they're not penalizing. Oh, and Testwell with a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Just could not slow it down in time. And that is gonna hurt him a lot. Not only in this race, in the championship fight. And he might be completely out of contention for the championship now. Where is he going to come out compared to Whisburn? Side by side on the exit, and Whisburn is ahead of Test Will. So the intermediates are quicker. And for sure, easy game is going to pull into the pit lane as well on this lap. Tolu now in P3, but still stuck behind Zezin. Snipes behind as well. As Tuisteri has rejoined. The gap now 4.5 seconds. Easy game is absolutely flying. Making it look like an easy game. But it certainly is not in these conditions. And now is still staying out. It is an interesting decision from our championship leader. A big risk from him. Zezin is going to cut across to go into the pit lane. Tolu is staying out, but there is a 10-second fine penalty for Zezin as well. And you can just see that coming. It's so easy to do in these conditions. When you're on slicks and it's raining, you're going to have to brake a lot earlier. And unfortunately, it is a penalty for the Mercedes driver as well, just like we saw Test Will on the previous lap. DRS has been disabled, which is usually a sign that slicks are no longer the quickest tire. Whilst Zezin rejoins behind Arbon in P9, with score still the top 5, yet to pit. And if you look at the gap, 20 seconds between easy game and Whisper. Let's see if he's really that much quicker on the intermediates. Doesn't seem like he's gaining too much on our race leader. So easy game might still be safe to remain in the lead once he makes his pit stop. As he comes out of the final corner, it is starting to rain harder here at Zandvoort. And now he is going to pull the pit lane. He just needs to keep his speed limit, and he is going to do that. Brakes nice and early, takes no risks going into the pit lane. Snipes staying out. Tolu into the pit lane. And Aquada Jobs picks up a 10-second time penalty as well for speeding now. That's the third driver to do so in this race. Easy game comes out ahead of Whisper just about. By around, well, a second. So Whisper at the moment in a net P2 position. But easy game definitely has got the best cars right now. To not only win this race, but to win the championship tonight. Will be ahead of his rivals. Snipes and Panda both losing a lot of time on the slicks now. So there is easy game already. Just, 3-4 seconds behind his championship rival, who was going to lose a full pit stop. And easy game gets past Panda quite easily. And look how slowly Snipes is going on these slicks. Just no traction at all. And here comes Easy Game to the inside. And he takes the lead on track. And he's a full pit stop ahead of Snipes, who is just going to stay out. He is going to stay out. Which might not be the best decision, as Wisburn gets past now. Unless it's going to dry up in 5 minutes. As he goes off track now. But his championship hopes starting to fall apart. There's contact there with Zezin. So Snipes is losing out big time. Test will got a 10-second time penalty. So Easy Game. Well, still not going to be easy. He has to keep it on track. But he is not under a lot of pressure in this championship fight. And Tolu gets past. Snipes down to 7th place, make that P8. One Soul Demon goes up the inside. There's contact between the two. Into the gravel trap goes our former championship leader. And it's going from bad to worse as he drops outside the points in P13. And it's not a sight you want to see in this championship fight. And he is finally going to pull into the pit lane, or is he? No, he's not. He's still going to stay out, and P15 still is. Easy Game now finds himself with a 3-second lead over Wisman as we have got to the halfway point of this race. Still a long way to go. Testwell still behind the Aston Martin. Zezin is a full 3 seconds behind. As Nexus gets inside the top 10 in his fight between himself and Skullkiller for the final couple of points. Shark in P9, Tusterry in 8, so well, P8, 9, 10, 11 are all non-tier 2 drivers, and they're doing a good job. Skullkiller, tier 4 driver, Nexus, Shark, and Tusterry, all tier 3 drivers, who we will see them in action tomorrow night as well. So make sure to tune in for that race. As at the front end, Easy Game continues to extend his lead to over 3.5 seconds now, as he goes on to lap 19. Whilst the two McLarens swapping positions, both of them running a different livery. Shelby with the Silverstone special livery, and his teammate with the regular livery, and Spears close behind in the Sauber, trying to take the advantage. Both of them actually have a penalty, and that is a 10-second penalty for Snipes for speeding in the pit lane, as if it couldn't get any worse. And it can, because he's retired from the race. So Snipes is out of the race, and he will not win the championship tonight. So that leaves just the two V-Carps to fight it out, and one of them has got a 10-second time penalty and is 16 points behind his teammate. So unless something crazy happens to Easy Game, I don't think there's any other possible outcome than Easy Game winning the championship in 16 laps time. To the inside goes the Sauber of PS with Akbala Jobs fighting that contact between the two, and almost spinning around is PS. But Hasn't lost too much time, but that hasn't got front wing damage either. So nothing to worry about. Well, the gap at the front, 4.3 seconds now. Easy game, in his own world, in his own race. And looks like he's quite comfortable out there. Extending his lead lap after lap. Of course, Wisburn has got a 4-lap tire disadvantage. I'm not sure if it's going to be raining for the rest of the race. If so, then we might have to make another pit stop later on. So Shelby gets past Skullkiller for P11. Skullkiller definitely going backwards rather than forwards. Got overtaken by Nexus 2 laps ago. And now sees the McLaren go around him. Five seconds now, another second gain for easy game. Wisburn in second, but Testville just unable to get past. Unable to get past the Aston Martin. There's an MP4, of course, both the drivers have got a 10-second time penalty, which is in favor of Arbon in P5, who is currently 4 seconds behind. So Arbon could be on for a podium finish, which would end the season strongly. And in fact, he hasn't been on the podium so far this season in Tier 2. His best result was 6th place, finished twice there, 10th in the championship on 49 points. But it would be his first podium of the season. Tolu is under big pressure from Soul Demon, his former championship rival in Tier 3 last season. He beat Soul Demon then. Can he do it again this race? Of course, we saw Soul Demon dropping behind earlier on and falling all the way to the back of the grid. And now he's in P7 again and having some good pace, and he's going to try and go up the inside into turn 1. But Tolu later on the brakes and able to maintain his position. But now the exit, Soul Demon is trying to put his Alpine alongside, but it's quite narrow in towards turn 2 and has to stay behind for now. Maybe get a better exit, but he has a moment coming out of turn 3 with the back end stepping out and stays in 7th place whilst Tolu remains in his position. The front 7 seconds now between easy game and Wisdom. It's more than a second faster every single lap. And it seems like Wisburn is starting to struggle as well on these 10 lap old intermediates, because Zezin has closed the gap now towards these two. So it's turning into a 3-way fight for second place, but of course Testwell and Zezin both with a 10-second time penalty. So it's not really a fight with Wisburn, but on track it can be. And no, Testwell wants to get by the Aston Martin to try and do anything against his teammate, but it's not looking likely with 13 laps to go. Shark goes to the inside of Twosteri into turn 1, the Aston Martin and the Haas side by side on exit, and Shark trying to keep his nose in, but it is Twosteri with the outside line and remains in P8. Well, Shelby and Skullkiller fighting it out once more. Skullkiller now with a better exit, and he is back in front of the McLaren. Oh, what a weird place to go for the move. Shark to the inside of Schijfvlak, and they're going side by side now to turn 8. And Aston Martin has finally got ahead. Twosteri still looking to go for the counter attack, but it looks like Shark, he's got the move done. He's up to P8. But the gap towards Soul Demon is a full 8 seconds. Oh, by the way, still behind Tolu. Arbon is also starting to lose time to Zezin. It's now almost 7 seconds. So the podium is starting to look less likely. but P5 would still be his best result. And actually, if you look at the weather, it looks like it is starting to dry up again, which might turn out to be very interesting for these final 10-12 laps of this race. So we're going back to dry. Who is going to be the first one to gamble for the slicks? We know Easy Game doesn't have to. He can stay out for a few more laps. He can afford to lose a couple of seconds. As long as he's still in the pit lane. Yeah, as long as he's still in the lead of the race. We saw Whisburn. He was the first one to put on the intermediates. Will he be the first one to go into the slicks again? Usually takes a few laps before the track fully dries up. So he might have to do a few more laps before the slicks are really quicker than the intermediates. And probably I thought he was going to the pit lane, but Testwell is getting closer now and he's going to try and go for the move for the first time. He's finally got the opportunity to try and go round the outside of Whisburn through turn 1 on the exit. Bit of contact, oh no, not contact, but he's lost the back end, which prevents him from trying to overtake Whisburn. Oh, Nexus now with a 10-second time, but there's more people going to pit in. Twoosterry and Shelby and Pires and Panda all into the pit lane. And he's going to the hards for the last 11 laps. Welcome, Amelia, to the chat. How are you doing? I'm doing quite good on this Wednesday evening. And it's hards for 12 lap old hards for Twoosterry. Am I reading that right? He has gone for an old set of hards. And that is going to cost him a lot of time. Nexus is going under the new mediums. His teammate is as well, Infinity as well. And Panda and Shelby both on a brand new set of hards. How's the stream going? Well, it's going well now. The first one I got kicked out and it stopped. So it's the second one, but it seems to be going quite good. And this race has been enjoyable. It's been a good one so far. Still got 10 laps to go. Anything can happen. We're just going to a dry stage of this race. DRS has been enabled. I just saw at the top of the screen. So everyone is pulling to the pit lane. Easy Game. He is back out on brand new hards. Tolu now finds himself in the lead, but he will lose out eventually. Whisper to mediums, Arbon to hards, Soul Demon on mediums, and Testwell is going to softs. He is going onto the softs, of course. He and Zezin both had to serve that 10-second time penalty. I think they did, which is why they're now both behind Soul Demon and Arbon, which they were behind before these pit stops. And we still wait until Tolu is gonna pull into the pit lane. Would you be interested in add some customized stuff on your channel? Not really, to be honest. I at the moment I only use this channel mainly for streaming. I used to upload quite a bit back in the day, a couple of years ago. But at the moment I'm a bit low on content, so maybe not right now, maybe in the future. And thank you for your Discord. I'll check it later. But for now, let's focus on this championship fight. Well, I say championship fight. It's not really a championship fight, because Easy Game has got a lead of 10 seconds, 11 seconds towards Whisburn. His teammate Testwell, his closest rival in the championship, is down in P7, and it's going to send one to the inside of Zezin going in towards turn 1. But there's contact between the two, and Testwell losing out on the exit. But still, wow! Oh, Zezin with a very poor exit. Got into the gravel, I think. Saw some gravel go off his tires. And Testwell is through now. Of course, he's on the softs. He should be quicker, but softs, they don't really last 10 laps on this game. So he is going to struggle at the very end. But he will have the pace advantage? What is the tire advantage at this stage? Arbon and Soul Demon are now fighting it out for P3. Soul Demon is on the mediums. He should be quicker. And Arbon does find himself now in a P3 position. And Soul Demon now, he is going to have the DRS, but is he going to be close enough to go for the move going in towards turn 1? Doesn't seem likely, but now he's going to try and go the long way around the outside. And Arbon gives the space, but in the end, Soul Demon gets shown the door by the Red Bull. And Arbon stays in P3 now on the exit. Soul Demon with a better run through turn 3, and he gets the position now. And he's up into P3. Arbon down to P4. Ran slightly wide through to the turn, but they're going side by side almost through turn 6. Very close stuff between these two, but it is Soul Demon who defends successfully against the Red Bull. And now can try to chase after Whisburn, but it's 5 seconds. And Arbon, what he needs to do is stay within DRS range, because his tires will be better in the final few laps compared to the Alpine. 3-second time penalty for Twisteri for multiple warnings, track limits. And look at that, look at the straight line speed advantage. Arbon is just going to fly by the Alpine, and he is now back into P3. In the background, there's well, a train of cars getting closer as well. Tolu, Testuel and Zezin all closing in on the fight between Arbon and Soul Demon. So it might turn into a 5-way fight for that final spot on the podium. And then it's Nexus in P8, but he's got a penalty, so he will at the moment drop behind Shark. Oh, and Nexus gone off track through turn 2. What happened to the Kick Sauber as he goes to the grass and is going to rejoin? Did he hit the wall? I think he did, because he's lost one of his end plates. Gets out of the way of his teammate. And Nexus, well, he was in a good position to score some nice points here in tier 2. But after that moment, he is going to be dropping behind, because it's quite a high downforce track and you really need the front wing. So he is going to be under pressure. And the same can be said for Arbon, because Soul Demon, with the help of DRS, is going to close that gap once more. And to the inside goes the Alpine in towards turn 1 later on the brakes, and Soul Demon back into P3. Arbon tries to go for the switchback, but just doesn't have the traction on these hards. Does seem like Arbon is running a slightly lower wing setup compared to the Alpine. And he likes to use a bit lower wings, as Zezin is all over the back of Testuel. And whilst Twisteri has retired in pit lane, meaning Haas are not going to score any points tonight in this season finale. The yellow flags are still out, but look at the gap, 14.6 seconds. Easy game. Absolutely dominating this race. Started from pole position. He didn't lead every lap, but he is comfortably out in front and on course to win the championship. Arbon and Soul Demon swapping around once more. Arbon gets to the inside, and he is back into that podium place. Yellow flags are out in the background, and it's Shelby who had a moment, and Shark gets a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Shelby, who is now going to pull into the pit lane because he got front wing damage. What happened between these two? Nexus into the pit lane as well behind in the Kick Sauber. And does Shark have damage? Yes, he has. Missing an end plate. And that is absolutely going to ruin his chance of finishing inside the top 10. as Infinity becomes our 4th retirement with 5 laps to go. The fight is still on for P3, not so much for P1 and P2. Easy game starts lap 32 out of 36. Oh, Tolu has spun out of the chicane. Turns 12 and 13. What happened to the Red Bull driver? And now is stuck on the exit. He can reset the track if he is stuck. Otherwise he will get disqualified. And he is out of the race. He retires on track, which is not allowed. But what happened between those two as they're fighting it out between Arbon and Solheim? Arbon's got the outside line off turn 3, going wheel to wheel on the exit. The Alpine, he's got the inside line, but Arbon, he's got the straight line speed advantage. There's almost conflict between the two as we go side by side up the hill towards turn 6, and Arbon with the inside line is gonna take that position again. His teammate is out of the race after a strange incident coming out of the Hans Ernst chicane. And Tolu will not score any points and becomes retirement number 5, meaning that only one driver will not score points, because the points go down towards P12 in Revolution. So at the moment Nexus is left pointless. But we got 4 laps to go in this race. Each game got almost 17 seconds. He can almost make a free pit stop to try and go for the faster lap. Of course, shouldn't take that risk in this championship fight, even though it's not a fight. But Soul Demon, here he comes again in his fight with Arbon in towards turn 1. The Alpine, he's got the outside line. Arbon on the inside, but does he have the traction coming out as they go side by side in towards turn 2, just like the previous lap? Arbon is on the outside of turn 3, and he keeps that outside line. Oh, and a bit of contact on the exit, and Soul Demon into the grass as Red Bull of Arbon just hitting the rear right tire of Soul Demon, who now remains in P3. Test will close behind, Zezin close behind, P5 and 6. It's now turned into a 4-way fight after Tolu's retirement. As fastest lap of the race goes to Shelby, who just pitted onto a brand new set of softs. He will not get an extra point for that, because he's not inside the top 10. As the fight continues on for P3, Arbon, he's got a 5-10 deficit going on to the start finish straight, but he's got such a straight line speed advantage. And here he comes, switch to the inside, and he is going to take that P3 position back going into turn 1, but Soul Demon is going to try and go the long way around the outside, and we've once again find ourselves in a similar position, but Arbon this time around does get the move coming in towards turn 2. And now Soul Demon, there's nothing he can do on the exit though, tries to go for a better exit, but he losing the back out in the background. That is Testwell and Zessin going side by side, almost contact between the two. So incredibly close through turns 4 and 5. But Testwell remains in P5 and can now try and chase after Soul Demon. Of course, his softs though are 8 laps old. I'm surprised he's still able to keep up with these guys, who should have the tire advantage. Easy game starts his penultimate lap of the race. Almost got a 20-second lead towards Wisburn, who has got front wing damage, but he's got a 2-second lead over Arbon, which should be enough for these final 2 laps. Nothing Soul Demon can do on this lap in this fight against Arbon. It's going to be all about that final lap. Yellow flags are out for Shelby, who has gone off in turn 7. He has spun around and he is going to get overtaken by Nexus, who picks up the final point. Both of them having front wing damage. And Shelby actually set that fast lap with front wing damage, I think. Whilst Shark and Skulker fight it out, not a driver with front wing damage. Gonna try and go for the switchback though on the Ferrari. But Skulker gets the move done. And he's up at the P9 and behind Panda, who is in P8. Tier 5 driver earlier this season, or Tier 6 maybe even. Then got promoted to Tier 3. Got pole position last week. now finds himself well inside the points in Tier 2. So what a story it's been for him this season. Great drive so far. Arbon, by the way, I said it was going to be enough for Whisburn, but look at this. He is within DRS range going on to the final lap. But 0.6 of a second, will it be enough? I'm not too sure. He is going to try and go for it regardless. Easy game lead going to the final lap. Arbon, is he going to try and go to the inside? He's going to have to go the long way around the outside towards turn 1. But he is unable to do so. Now on the exit, tries to go for the switchback. But Whisburn positions his car nicely and remains in second place. Now where can you go for the gap? Where can you go for the move around this track? Besides turn 1. He's going to have to try and find a different place to overtake. Of course, through these corners he will be quicker with the front wing damage of Whisburn. But the focus is on this man, Easy Game. The winner of the last 2 races. Started this race from pole position. Wasn't a fight early on. But after that, he didn't make a single mistake. And Easy Game, he's going to cross the line to not only win the Dutch Grand Prix, but Easy Game is your Season 13 Tier 2 Drivers' Champion. Easy Game wins the championship here tonight in the last race. And what a drive it's been, not only in this race, but in the entire season. He joined in round 4 as the fight continues on between Whisburn and Arbon. It's right race to the line. Arbon gets it on the line by, 42 thousandths of a second. And his straight line speed advantage, he has paid off in the end. Wow, what a finish. Snatching away second place at the very last moment in this race. Whisburn, in the end, P3, unfortunately for him. Sold him in P4. Testwheel in P5. He gave it a good run to his teammate, but unfortunately that 10-second time penalty really ruined his chances. And he settles for a top 5 finish. Zessen in P6. And we'll take a look at the rest of the results in a moment's time. But well done, Easy Game. He is your Tier 2 champion this season in Revolution. Started off in Tier 3 in the opening rounds. Got promoted to Tier 2. Won his first race of the season in round 10 at Spa. And now has gone for 3 in a row with Suzuka, Mexico and now Zandvoort. And a very well-deserved Drivers' Champion. And VCAR picking up the double. Of course, they already had the Constructors' Championship, but now they have got both. Arbon, well, P12 to P2. It says Driver of the Day right there, and I fully agree with that. Especially with that move on the final lap. Panda in P7, also a great drive from him. PRS and P8, Skoker, Aqua Jobs, and Shark and Nexus rounding out the points. And Shelby with the fast lap, but only P13. So no points for him. What a race that was, and what a way to end the season. Looked like it was going to be a great fight between the top 3 when they lined up on the grid in first, second and third. It was a great fight on the opening few laps. But then we saw Snipes have that moment out of the final corner. And then later on he picked up a penalty, got himself damaged and eventually retired when the rain fell. Testwheel got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which dropped him a lot of positions. And it was Easy Game out in front, who could just drive off into the distance towards victory and towards his championship. Well done to him. A very well-deserved championship. But that is the end then of this season in Tier 2. Tomorrow I will return for Tier 3 for that season finale, and Tier 4 will be there as well. And Tier 5 last race of the season on Friday. But I hope you all enjoyed. Whoever tuned in, thank you very much. And I will see you guys tomorrow. But that's it from me tonight. And I'll see you guys soon. So enjoy your evening.